right, North Node in Cancer. We're getting up there with the nodes. I'm almost done, I think. So, North Node in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn. I did do the North Node in Capricorn video. If you want to check that out, because sometimes it's helpful to see the opposite, because then it helps you see what you should be doing and what you should be moving away from as well. So learning is you're learning to act accordingly to your emotions when your North Node is in Cancer. I do want to say with the caveat, that doesn't mean you're an overly emotional person. I know someone with North Node in Cancer. They're not a very overly emotional person, but they are very dedicated to their family. Okay, so it doesn't mean you're becoming a Cancer sun. I want to really make that distinction with North Nodes. So the South Node, your past life, you're coming from a place. You're coming from a place. And again, as I always say in all my videos, if you're new, your past life doesn't mean you understand it 100%. It doesn't mean you even 100% believe in it. You don't have to in order to understand this concept of your North Node being your spiritual path and being the mode in which you should approach life in order to reach enlightenment. So you're coming from a past where you were focused on status and rising to the top and reputation, and you had to do that. And it doesn't mean you didn't care about your family, because sometimes this Capricorn, the kind of understanding, the kind of like people say, oh, Capricorns they're cold or this, that. It's more so they're calculated in getting the goal. And when you're trying to reach a certain goal, unfortunately, emotions can sometimes get in the way. And so whereas sometimes even when they Cancer energy, you can see Cancer kind of stops in their track. When something emotionally disrupts them, it's like, I don't want to, that's not comfortable with that. I'm not doing that anymore. Where Capricorn's going to face that discomfort and say, let's take it head on. I need to get this thing. So in the past life, you would have had that kind of mindset of like achievement and status. And maybe you took care of home more in a provision type of way, providing for them. And now you're here to understand home and your family. And for some North Node in Cancers, that means a lot of them, some of them, they stay home. Like they stay not home in the house in your mom's basement or whatever. Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. But I don't mean like that. I mean, you stay home, like you in your hometown maybe. Remember, Cancer is related to history, origins, your home state. Something with the North Node in Cancer wants to feel that connection to where they belong to. North Node in Sagittarius, for instance, might move away. They might move away from home. Their journey is to see what else is out there, okay? And you're connected to where you belong. You need to find comfort in your origins. So Capricorn is moving away from where they're from, because Capricorn is about ascending in the career. And when you're ascending, you can't always control that, right? So the Capricorn is concerned more with image and public image and connecting to people through that. You are here to connect to people you actually belong to. And so you need to move away from that need to constantly obtain and gain and achieve at the expense of your emotional comfort. Now, that does not mean you're not allowed to achieve. You live in the 3D world, we live in the physical world. We have to provide and make money and all those things in order to function. But you're here to value your family. You know, in a world that doesn't value emotion, sometimes it's hard for some people, you know. And I feel like in a lot of the times in the world, you know, emotions are not valued or seen as subpar or seen as roadblocks to getting what you want, right? In this world that's like, hey, this world is about you're out for yourself. And a lot of times people don't really like to deal with emotions unless it's to emotionally manipulate people. And so I think with North Node in Cancer, you have to kind of let go of those assumptions about emotional connections that sometimes society perpetuates. Okay. And so it's important though, also for people around you to understand your dedication to family, to where you're from. And by family, it can mean the family you create or the family that you come from. In what I've seen, I'm not a North Node in Cancer, but I live with one, it's both. You know, it's caring for the family that they came from, or being there, or being dependable, and caring for the family they create, you know. And so I think that's important to think about, is like, for many of you, family is going to be essential, and doesn't mean you have to go have kids or anything like that. Maybe not. Maybe your connection to people is more on an emotional intelligence way, where you're connecting to people through authentic, meaningful, I actually care about you, I'm nurturing you, I'm going to take care of you type of energy. You're learning to do that, because in the past it was about power. And so, you know, power and money And now we're here to learn about, well, the power of emotions and being dedicated to someone else, and that's going to fulfill you in this lifetime. That's why sometimes you can have people, you're like, well, they made all this money, how are they not happy? Why are they stepping down from that position? And sometimes it's as simple as life, right? But sometimes it's literally that, like, people are not acting in according to their North Node. And so you can, if your North Node is in Cancer and all you care about is money and power and prestige and influence, you're not activating your North Node, and you're going to have all these things around you and be like, why am I not happy? If you believe in astrology. I'm not saying everyone has to believe it, but you know, your accomplishment before was like money, reward, and you were used to getting physical and financial things. But now you're here to learn to get the reward of family, of people's emotions, of reciprocation. Like, I care about you, you care about me. That's what you're learning. You're learning to care for others. You're learning what that looks like, and it's a very important part of your development. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. So you need to allow yourself to be open to the waves of emotion. You're in this lifetime, you're learning to understand and unpack what emotions mean, and what does it mean to use your emotions to protect your investment. You think about the 4th house, so you think about the North Node in Cancer. You're protective. You're here to also protect something, right? Preserve something for yourself and for others around you. And if it's not family, because some people are like, well, my North Node's in Cancer, and I don't get along with my family. Well, first of all, if usually when there's a drastic deviation from your sign, it's something else in your chart. You know what I mean? When you're like, this doesn't resonate, what's going on? Usually it means there's something going on in your chart where you have to analyze the whole chart to see, why does your node, why does your Mercury, why does your Jupiter, why does your sign not correlate at all with some of the general things. Now, again, you're not going to relate to every single thing about your sign. So, like, for instance, people say with Sun and Virgo, they're like, Virgos are critical and they're judgmental. I've always said, I don't care what anyone's doing unless it starts to affect people negatively or it affects me. I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care what you look like unless it's relevant, right? Like, I'm a Sag moon. So if someone comes at me, I'm going to come at them. Like, I'm not, but I don't come at people. I don't think like that. Like, I don't look at people as a deficit. I don't look at a person like, what's wrong with you? Oh, I don't care. I care more about ideas and communicating with people. Like, I don't look at people like, now again, it depends on the situation. Like, if I'm going out with my family and they can wear something different, I might be like, hey, we're going to this function here. You might want to wear this outfit here. Or, hey, we're going to school, so you need to put this on, you know? So I guess I have the ability to look at something as, I look at something as what's appropriate for the situation. But that's what I'm saying. When something does not you're usually going to resonate. I resonate as a Virgo. I resonate with most of the stuff said about Virgo. I don't resonate with that. They're overly critical and judgmental and all the time. And I don't care what y'all, never mind. Not about me. So that's my point. If something doesn't resonate, because yes, Cancer energy can also be associated with hometown, origin, history. So maybe you're a person preserving the history of your ethnic group or your race or whatever is important to you. So Cancer can also mean just this idea of where you belong, where you come from. So it's also possible for people like, look, I don't get along with my family, for it to really be more about something like that. All right. So that was it for this video. Again, these are introduction videos. I do plan to do more in depth maybe in the future videos about nodes, but thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also follow me on Instagram and Amethyst Virgo.